This is Algebra 1, Lesson 2, and these are the practice problems that go with this lesson. In the first one, we have a diagram, and it tells us to find x. Now, this is x, and this is a degree symbol, and we know that this angle down here on the left is 55 degrees, and we know that this other angle is also 55 degrees. Now, that makes me think about something. Remember us talking about isosceles triangles? And how that your legs are going to be equal, right? If this base angle is equal to this base angle, then these opposite sides must be equal. So this must be an isosceles triangle. Okay, that's just what popped in my head for a minute. I hope maybe it did to you. Now we know that the angles inside of a triangle equal what? 180 degrees. So we know that this angle plus this angle plus this angle has to equal 180. So let's add these two together. 50 and 50 is 100, 5 and 5 is 10, so that's 110 degrees. And hopefully right there you can say, well, that x has got to be 70 degrees. And I can show you why. I can subtract the 110 from both sides, and x is equal to 70 degrees. 70 plus 55 plus 55 equals 180. And that's the answer to your first question. Let's look at B. Find x and y. Now, here, the diagram does not look accurate. Okay, that's my drawing skills, I guess, right here. But that's okay, because remember, we can't rely on just the way it looks. But they tell us that this side is equal to this side. So let's go across from that. That means this angle has to be equal to this angle. Okay? So I'm going to erase my markings and say that this angle has to be equal to this angle. Well, that I know that this angle is 40. That means x has to be equal to 40 degrees. So that part was pretty easy to find because what we learned in the lesson. Now let's see if we can figure out what y is. Well, we know that when you add y plus x, which is 40, plus the third one, which was 40, you get 180 degrees. Well, 40 and 40 make 80. Whoops, put an equal sign there, plus y. 40 and 40 equals 80, so y plus 80 equals 180 degrees. What plus 80 would give me 180? Well, y has to be 100. Let's show it. Let's get rid of the 80 on this side. And let's say y equals 100 degrees. And if you check it, 100 plus 40 is 180. And I should not have put it right there. I need to put that y equals 100 degrees. All right, C tells us to find x and y. And here again we see that this side is equal to this side. So we can go across from it. That means y must be equal to x. That's helpful for us to see in the diagram. So we can put a little tick mark on those angles and so that those must be equal. So we know that when you take 112 degrees, this angle, and when you add to it the x angle and the y angle, you're going to end up with 180 degrees. So how important that 180 degrees is. Let's get rid of the 112 degrees from both sides. And we get x plus y is equal to, I'm going to borrow there, 10 minus 2 is 8, 7 minus 1 is 6. I get 68 degrees. So when I add x and y together, I should get 68 degrees. Okay, so it could be 67 and 1 or 66 and 2, right? No, because I know that x and y are equal to each other. So since I know that x and y are equal to each other, let's take 68 and divide it by 2, and we'll get 34 degrees. That means x is 34 degrees, and y is 34 degrees. And that is the last practice problem.